starting our program in a sec. If we could just have voices down. Sorry to be a teacher. Thank you all so much for coming. My name's Michelle Ganley. I'm the Director of Communications, so I helped set all of this up. I know the mic does not go any louder, so we're just going to have to kind of do our best. We just have a brief program today starting at 1, so I'm going to pass off to Rick, our president, Rick Danforth, any second now. I just wanted to thank you guys so much for coming. This means a lot to us, and we're so grateful to have you as friends and members, and I'm so excited to celebrate our next 75 years. I'm going to hand off to Rick now. Is he in here? Oh, here he is. I didn't know we moved the podium.
Welcome, everyone. Not only am I a member of TOPS, I'm actually the president. Thank you all for attending. It's great pleasure to have some members of the Manns family here helping us celebrate this momentous day. Whenever I come to headquarters, it's emotional because I can feel Esther Mann's presence everywhere I look. She knew that people who struggled with obesity needed support. And here, 75 years later, we are here celebrating her labor of love called TOPS Club. It is no exaggeration that through TOPS Club, she helped and saved hundreds and thousands of lives. She even saved mine. To honor this, To honor this day, we have proclamations from across the country. And local. We have State Senator Chris Larson sent a proclamation. Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson, U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, Governor of Wisconsin Tony Evers, and U.S. Representative Gwen Moore. That is quite an honor for this. It's unbelievable. I believe that through Esther Mann's accomplishments, she was one of the most influential women to come out of the 20th century. You may not know this, but last year, September 26, 2022, TOPS Club was listed on the National Historical Registry for Historic Places. I'm here to announce today, to commemorate this honor, that a plaque has been permanently affixed to the building. It's on the corner. You all walk by it. This will ensure that the future generations will know that TOPS is here after 75 years, that TOPS will be here for the next 75 years and beyond. Enjoy the rest of the program. Enjoy the rest of the day. And as Mrs. Manns would say, enjoy a healthy life.
Yeah. Testing. Does this one work too? Yeah. Okay, next up, I just wanted to have two members speak briefly about what TOPS has meant to them. So we have Ronette joining us next. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, I'm not asking. I was going to open it up, but I thought we would be here for hours just because all of you have honestly such good, inspiring stories. We have two speakers. So here, Ronette is up next. Ronette, do you want to give yourself a better introduction? You're from Northern Illinois.
Good afternoon. Hi, like Michelle said, I'm Ron Wenberg. I'm a member of 986 Rockford, and I have had the pleasure of meeting Esther Manns. She even invited me to sit in the chair in her office at one time. She was a wonderful, amazing lady. I'm an emotional when I talk about TOPS, but I came prepared with my Kleenex. Sometimes I get overly emotional when I talk about my Chicago Cubs, especially when they get trounced on by your Milwaukee Brewers. However, as we old Cub fans say, wait till next year. I have a tendency to mess up numbers and consider them a challenge. I do like challenges. The following few numbers mean a lot to me, so maybe that's why I don't mess them up. August 14th, 1972, I joined TOPS. 1040434, my TOPS membership number. October 9th, 1975, I became TOPS and a Century member. And October 9th, 2025, I will be a 50-year consecutive TOPS and Century member. Guaranteed. I have a few sayings or slogans that I live by. No excuses, only options. If what you're doing isn't working, why are you still doing it? Get a plan, get focused, get moving, get losing. Setting short and long-term goals and making adjustments also are part of my plan. Many, many years ago, my son had serious surgery at Children's Memorial Hospital in St. Paul, Minnesota. My husband worked at home while I was alone 14 to 16 hours a day. Emotionally, I'm thinking, how on earth am I going to stay on track and keep my cop status? My supervisor, they were supervisors back then, contacted the Minnesota supervisor, and she drove me 30 minutes each way every week for 6 weeks to her chapter meeting. She gave me a plan, and it worked. I needed to take care of me so I would be strong enough to take care of my son. My official weight chart had 6 weeks of EX because back then your weight didn't count if you weighed someplace else. I will be forever grateful to her and her chapter. Retreats also had a huge impact on me. I realized there is no food, no obstacle, no person, nothing has the power to derail me except me. Nothing but me. I am my only barrier. TOPS has impacted me with strength, determination, a lot of orneriness. It's one of the biggest and most important parts of my plan. I also learned about the exchange program at retreats. That knowledge really impacted me about the time I was a 30-year TOPS when diabetes knocked on my door. I do things backwards. I was really ticked and emotionally upset because that was not part of my plan. Because I knew the exchanges, I had no problem adjusting. Now there's many things I choose to eat only once in a while. I know if I have too much, it will overload my system and I'll have a miserable night. My doctor told me I couldn't get upset watching the Cubs anymore because it would affect my blood sugar. I told him he was nuts. We Cub fans always get upset, especially in September. And of course, there's our old friend food. Food is a huge impactor for we TOPS members. I've never been an emotional eater. I'm a bite eater. If I eat something I know I shouldn't be eating, it's just a bite. Again, that's part of my plan. I haven't had potato chips in years. No interest in them anymore. However, a few weeks ago, my hubby is eating chips and says, "Boy, these are really good. Here, have one." What happened? I gobbled that up, wham, it was gone. And I thought, what did I just do? Mindless eating. Don't we do that? I only had that one chip and looked at him and said, "You keep those blankety blank things away from me." I haven't had one since, but they have been in my dreams for several weeks. Then I get an email from headquarters telling me that my spa, Mary Mullane, recommended me to speak today. And I said, wow, why me? Why not get some cute, young, sexy thing that will attract the attention of the young people who so desperately need TOPS? Why this seasoned old broad that's a Cubs fan? I had no idea what to say, but Mary helped me in my moment of self-doubt. And today I'm talking about the impact that TOPS has had on my life. That young obese girl is still deep inside of me, fighting fighting to emerge. Remembering her, accepting her, and knowing what could and can happen keeps me on my plan. She gives me the strength I so desperately need to keep that weight off. TOPS literally has saved my life, and I'm so grateful for that. Being diabetic, where would I be now if I hadn't lost that weight and kept it off for 48 years? Because of TOPS, I'm doing fine. If you work your plan will work. It's when you stop working your plan that it stops. No excuses, only options. Get a plan, get focused, get moving. TOPS field staff are always available to help and support you. But be careful of any strange man holding a potato chip.
Thank you, Ronette. That was awesome. Oh my gosh. All right. Thank you so much. Next up, we have George Rosenthal, who's also from Illinois. Sorry to the Brewers and Milwaukee people.
Yeah. Double checking that. Being an IT guy, I put this on my see if I can do this here. First of all, welcome everyone. Okay, got it. All right, I'll try to do that. So we're here to celebrate the. Still not. Oh wow. Yeah. Try something. Let's try something. Nope. That's probably not gonna work. All right, it's not gonna work. All right. Yeah, it's just kind of it's a two-finger thing. Anyway, I think I got it. All right.
Sure.
Yeah. So, in any case, we're here to celebrate the 75th anniversary of TOPS. Still closer. Okay. Today is actually the anniversary of another event that happened exactly 74. Sorry, guys. 74 and a half years ago today that directly impacted today's activities. I was born. As it turns out, my birth in Milan, Italy, provided a critical link in my family's journey on their trip to America. My parents had actually escaped from behind the Iron Curtain, and my birth enabled them to stay in Italy until they were able to come to America aboard a U.S. military ship as guests of the United States. I described this in a story that I wrote about healthy food choice options while traveling, which was published in the March-April issue of 2022. As it happens, this isn't the first time that I was invited to participate in a TOPS anniversary event. I was actually invited to participate in the 60th anniversary event, which was held in Chicago in 2008. In fact, I received 3 invitations to that event. But that's really not where my TOPS story began. It actually began about 2 years earlier with a phone call that I made. A phone call to 911 because I thought I was actually having a heart attack at work. In the ER, they determined that I actually hadn't had a heart attack, but they scheduled a diagnostic test called an angiogram, and I stayed overnight in the ICU. I had to sign the usual approval form, but they had one extra sentence in there, something about, oh, and by the way, if they happen to find extensive blockage, they were authorized to do open heart surgery. Well, that will kind of get your attention. They determined that I actually had about a 47% blockage in a large artery, so that no further action was needed. But my obesity was no longer just embarrassing and uncomfortable. It had now become life-threatening. And gastric bypass was suggested, but I thought I'd try going back to TOPS instead. I'd been a member 25 years earlier, and I'd even been a division winner. In fact, I spoke about how TOPS helped me to achieve a lifelong dream of becoming a pilot, a glider pilot, which is basically a small airplane with no engine. So that would have been very impossible at my weight. I'd heard about a chapter in nearby Buffalo Grove, now the chapter leader of that chapter, and their scale, unfortunately, only went up to 350 pounds. and I learned in the hospital that my weight had actually ballooned up to about 397. But I continued attending meetings and filling out a calorie sheet. In fact, I ended up using my wife's balance beam scale at home. I found if I put a big magnet on one end, I could get it to balance and take a reading. Well, in any case, after weighing myself in that manner, I could track my progress. But my wife said to me, "You just weighed yourself. Why do you need to go to a meeting?" And I said, "Because I need to go to a meeting." You know, it's not about just a number. You know, it's about the support and the camaraderie and the accountability. Anyway, they finally got the extra weight for the chapter scale after several months, but I'd already lost over 35 pounds and officially joined TOPS about three months after I really joined TOPS. Anyway, I continued losing and exercising, and about a year after I started, I attended the ARD in 2007, which was held on April 21st, my birthday. And I remember joking with Jody, who's sitting over there, and I said, "Gee, it was awfully nice of you guys to throw this big party on my birthday." Well, she ended up having the last laugh because the organist began playing "Happy Birthday to You," and the whole audience chimed in. It was quite a thing. Anyway, I continued losing weight and adjusting my goal as I went along. And in the fall, TOPS announced the TOPS Charm and Beauty Contest and the Greatest Improvement Contest. Unfortunately, TOPS didn't consider that I was actually either charming or beautiful, but I was a finalist in the Greatest Improvement Contest, so I did receive an invitation to the IRD in 2008. A few months later, I received 2 letters in the mail from TOPS headquarters. The first one announcing that I was the Illinois State King that year, and the second one said, "You're the International King runner-up for that year." So that was my 2 more invitations to the IRD. Well, the IRD itself was an incredible event. They decided to hold the state SRD on the Wednesday preceding the IRD, so that I had to plan on a 4-day stay. I had the honor of having Barb Katie, who was then president, preside over my state coronation ceremony. Barb and I actually got to know each other because we collaborated on an electronic spreadsheet that I put together that I found it made it easier to keep track of my calories, and it was actually posted on the TOPS website where it remained for several years. The IRD itself was really a blur of activities, nearly 2,000 fellow TOPS members from all over North America, US and Canada, and I was even asked to lead the men's forum that year. I also participated in several onstage events, including the Century Club Award and the Before and After Parade. Basically, at that time, a TOPS legend was actually born of sorts. As it turns out, I was the only participant in the Before and After Parade who didn't have a large outfit, you know, hanging in front of them when I walked on the stage. The idea was you'd have your outfit in front of you, then you know, the new, thinner you. Instead, I just brought my old belt. I had a size 60-inch leather belt, and I just simply walked out there with just the belt in my hand, and people looked at me like, "This guy forgot something here." And when they announced, you know, George lost so many pounds, so many inches, I just dropped the belt. It fell all the way to the stage floor, and people went, "Wow, incredible! Well, how creative!" And it was just, I didn't ruin my suitcase. Anyway, on Friday, July 4th. That year, I got up early to go for a walk downtown, and a group of TOPS were just returning from a walk, and one of them was using trekking poles, one of the ladies, and I asked her about it, and you know, she just sight unseen, you know, said, "Here, try these," you know. And anyway, so I went for a walk. It was beautiful, all over, you know, Chicago with the Mag Mile and everything, and I had no idea that many years later, trekking poles would play such a huge impact on my life. In fact, last year I got a pair of trekking poles, and in addition to helping with my mobility and balance issues, I also discovered something unexpected. I mean, I was approaching my 15-year anniversary as a TOPS, and I began losing weight again. And I know you're all saying that's great, should happen to me, right? You know, it turns out I lost so much weight that it actually threatened my TOPS status. I actually got way below my lower limit, and it was a little hairy there for a few weeks until I actually got to see my doctor. Anyway, I wrote an article in the May-June issue of TOPS News about my experience, and I'd highly recommend taking a look at it. There's some good information in there. By using the trekking poles, instead of just using the lower half of your body, you're actually engaging the upper half. You're burning more calories. Well, anyway, the other big event that Friday was the cops graduation ceremony. This was followed by the Cops Longevity Award, where each cop is called out by name and their years of longevity. They each walked across the stage and sort of take their moment in the spotlight. The graduates, myself included, remained on stage, and it was like being backstage at a fashion show. In fact, as each of the ladies, mostly ladies, I'm not complaining, walked out, or they actually kind of just sashayed across the stage. It wasn't even walking, really. You could just see the pride that they took in their accomplishments. Later that evening, I actually had a lady come to me, or approach me, wagging her finger at me, like one of these, and she's going, "You're busted." And I went, "Excuse me?"
I know that lady.
Do you do? Okay. I'd love to meet her again. Anyway, but she said, I was watching you. She said, "You were looking at every one of those ladies from head to toe." And I said, "You're right." I said, "I was, but I wasn't leering at them, right? I was just admiring how beautiful and confident they looked." Well, anyway, later that evening, we had a very moving address, and that was followed by the Circle of Light ceremony, which, if you've never seen that, is really an impressive event. All the cops, basically like 2,000 people in the auditorium, would basically kind of surround all the other members, and they play some music, and they had these little flashlight candles. And the feeling, I think, I don't speak for all the cops, but the feeling I had was, come join us. We want you to be successful also, be a part of this. Well, the next day, Saturday, was the International Royal Coronation, I guess you might say, with the 4 finalists. And, we all had prepared speeches that were approved and so on and so on. But I felt there was something I learned that I wanted to share with the audience. And they said, "Well, you better check with Barb Katie," and I did. And she seemed okay with that. But what I said was, I've been extremely fortunate to have received several national awards. And I'm very proud of them, and they mean a great deal to me. But the award that means the most to me is my tiny cops pin, because that means I've succeeded. I've reached a healthy weight. I'm feeling better and I'm looking better. And that really, to me, is the most important aspect about cops. And then I turned to the audience again, almost 2,000 people, and I said, most of you will likely never have an opportunity to win a national award. It really comes down to a numbers issue, over which you really have no control. In fact, Rick Danforth wrote about that in his president's message this month. I said, even though very few people will be in a position to win a national award, I said, everyone here, every single person can reach a healthy weight goal and feel better and more confident about themselves and become a cop. And it's a lifestyle change, but the rewards are so worth it. And so I want to wish each and every one of you success and good health in your weight loss efforts. And I bid all of you Godspeed on your journey. Thank you.
Thank you. Are we done? Oh, this one's good. Thank you, George. That was excellent. I so appreciate that you joined us and shared all that. Next up, we have one of my favorite colleagues, Tops News publisher and editor. Even if you do not recognize his face right away, you might know him just as the person who brings you your magazine every month. Again, he doesn't deliver it to your house, but he's the man behind the magic. So here he is, Barry.
Thanks, Michelle. I appreciate that. I'm the publisher and editor of the magazine. I'm going to tell you, it's a magazine it's our members' magazine. It goes out to our members. And our goal is to provide our members with inspiration, information, and access to resources to make healthy choices.
And you're doing that.
Well, thank you. We are trying really hard. And there's 6 kinds of stories that are in every issue, and to provide a balanced offering of materials, we try to have 2 stories from each of these selections. And when you open up the table of contents, the headings are the types of stories. There's Eat Better, that's recipes and nutrition, that's important, of course. There's Stay Motivated, that's the success stories of our members like George and Ronette, who have been successful. And what we try to do, and that also includes the chapters, we try to provide positive role models for everybody so that everybody can see themselves and go, you know what, that's a good idea, I can do that. So that's one thing that we try to accomplish. There's Be Well, and those are stories to help our members make healthy choices. We've got a couple of columnists who are in there, and that's one of the reasons they are there. And then we've got Move More. That's the exercises and activities to get people moving. And that is an opportunity for our members to be in the magazine. We are always looking for people to do photo shoots for workouts. And I had a little sign-up sheet over there, and it's painful. Or it's not. No, it's not painful. It's pain-free. It's pain-free. No, it's not painful. I did it. I was in a photo shoot the first week that I worked here. When I interviewed, they said, "Hey, would you mind being in a photo shoot?" I thought they were kidding, so I said, "Yeah, of course." And the first week I'm here, I'm wearing a pair of tights and doing kettlebells. So if you want that kind of treatment, sign up on the sheet, and we'd be happy to help you. And then we've got the TOPS related stuff. Rick, the president, writes a column every week or every month. And although this November, December, Carol Holtz writes a guest column, which is excellent. And then we've got Scrapbook. That's where our members send in their photos. We put as many of those in as we can, and we love getting those. So thank you for doing that. And then we've got the inside insert in every issue. There's stuff to help members run chapter meetings, help the leaders run chapter meetings. And there's activities and programs in there, and our members send those in too. So those are the types of stories. And then I'm just going to tell you, there's some themes that we go back to time and time again, because I think they're important. One is family. There's the family that you're born into, and then there's the family that you choose. And that includes TOPS and the chapters. That's family. Yes, it is. And the reason we put that in the magazine, that goes to support. Your family should support you no matter what. TOPS family, yes, they do. And I'm just going to tell you, we got, in November, December, we got 2 sets of sisters. I got to show off. This is Laura and Linda. Yeah, TOPS. I think it's 0456. They meet right here at headquarters. Their spread turned out really well. I love their smiles. They're really enthusiastic. That turned out really well. They're sisters, and we got them in the book. So I really was happy about that. And then the second set of sisters is Kathy and Patty. And they're 2 sisters that I met when I was at a retreat in Oregon this spring. And they were great. They reminded me, the relationship they had reminded me of my own daughters. They fooled around and were really funny together. And so I got to know them a little bit, and they had great attitudes. So I wanted to get them in the magazine, and we did. And I'm happy to say that Patty lost, they're both cops. Patty lost 70 pounds to goal. No, Kathy lost 70 pounds to goal. I got to get it right. And Kathy lost 70 and Patty lost 50. So they're both tops, both cops. So I'm really pleased for that. So family isn't one thing that I always try to get into. I'm always happy with that. The second theme is journey to better health. We're all on a journey. Some of us are driving a new car on the interstate, full tank of gas, going 75 miles an hour. Everything's great. Good luck. Congratulations on that one. Some of us are driving a 22-year-old Honda that needs a brake job, and we're going on a 2-lane road, and we're not quite sure where we're going. But we're making progress. We're doing it. And some of us, we're in the parking lot trying to get the car in gear. But we're going to figure it out. Yes, we are. So the journey is important. We try to get people on different aspects of the journey, and that includes, and I was just talking to a couple of our members about this earlier in the day, that includes losing weight, making your goal, and gaining it back. That happens to people. Yes, it does. And we understand that. I mean, your chapter members understand that, so we try to help you out on that one too. The third theme is, and I think this is the most important one, is why don't we do the things that we know are healthy? Eventually, you'll figure out the activities that you enjoy, the nutrition or how to make it work for yourself, but still sometimes you just don't do it. Why is that? And like anything with that's medical, it's complicated. Sometimes it's the medication you're taking. Sometimes it's a condition, physical or mental health issues. Sometimes it's stress. Sometimes it's your family. Sometimes it's your kids. But so we try to address that. We've got some columnists that work for us. One is Mel Hexum, and she was the teacher. I took a year-long diabetes prevention class through the YMCA, and she was my teacher, and she is excellent, and she is a real down-to-earth person, and really she writes about the things that people happen in everyday life. Another columnist that we have is Becky Allen, and she's a young woman who unfortunately lost her husband to cancer, had 2 young kids, and she writes about what do you do when the worst thing that you can imagine happens to you? Where do you go from there? Really gripping stuff. And she does that almost every issue. And then I'm going to tell you one more person that we've signed, and I'm really excited about her. It's Nicole Burden. She's a therapist and a friend of my wife. And she is going to write, her first column is going to be in January, February issue, and it's about cognitive behavior therapy. And that is the negative thoughts that are in your head. That affects your emotions and your actions. And how do you stop that? Or how do you work around that? And she's got some ideas. So that's kind of stuff, but I saved the best for last. And the best part about Topps News is Dave Zylstra, the illustrator, he's the illustrator, he's the designer and artist for Topps News. And Dave is an artist, he's a painter, and he makes the whole magazine beautiful and makes it shine. So Dave is part of this too. So I don't know, that's all I really have to say. So thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Honestly, I think it's interesting to see how it's made and how we put this stuff together, because there is a little bit of a science to it. Carol is going to be ending our program. Carol Holtz, Esther Mann's granddaughter. She runs online meetings. She is a board member. I can't say enough about her. I just want to do a couple quick announcements. After this, we're going to be starting tours pretty much on the half hour. They all go off at the front of the building. So the first one is supposed to start at 1:30. We're a little bit past that. But so as soon as we're wrapped here, if you want to take one of the first tours, go stand out front under the balloon arch. We're also going to be going off at 2, 2:30. We're taking a break at 3 for the ducks, and then back at 3:30. And if there's interest, I'll do a 4 o'clock tour. So again, that meets at the front of the building. We're also going to be offering some music in the tent. So either enjoy, or if it's not your thing, migrate somewhere else. Buy something in the top store if you'd like. That's right by the loading dock. We're doing a meet the doctor or ask the doctor session at 2 o'clock. If you have a healthy living, weight loss question that you want to ask our friends from the Medical College of Wisconsin. We have some silent auction tables set up inside too, if you want to bid on any old pins or charms or fun Topps historical items. And again, 3 o'clock out here, weather bearing, is when we're going to do the duck pull. So without further ado, here's Carol Holtz. Oh, and get ready. We're gonna do our cheers finally at the end of this. So grab a champagne if you don't have one, or raise your glass of anything.
Okay. Well, I will keep this short because it's cold. As she said, I'm Carol Holtz. I run the online program. I am also the virtual programming administrator for Topps. I am on the Topps board, so yes, many hats. And as they always say, and I'm Esther Mann's granddaughter. Thank goodness this date that we picked for this was not actually the date of the birth of Topps, because that would be even colder than this. It was January 21st of this year, but we decided to celebrate the whole entire year. So we get to have it a little bit nicer. The other fun fact is the reason we also have this date is because tomorrow would be Esther Mann's 116th birthday. So my job, besides all of that, is I get to kind of be the Topps historian. And I think I've read, okay, almost read all the stuff that Esther has written. And so I decided that what I would do to kind of cap this off at the end here is just to give you some words that come from Esther. So one of the things that she always talked about was the people in TOPS. So in 1973, she wrote in her foreword, because she had the president's message, "There is no spirit greater than the top spirit." That's true because there are no finer people than TOPS. She also knew of the importance of TOPS and that we needed to have this because of the support that is needed. So this goes back to the starting year, 1948. She wrote, "That is where the TOPS Club stands ready to help each individual who wants to be helped." And it rings true today. I told you I'm going to keep this short. So the last one I have for you is a great way to kind of wrap this up because it actually is very fitting for this event. In 1966, she wrote, "Memories are wonderful, but we've carried this far enough. Now it's time to get back to work and build more of the stuff of which future memories will be built." It's like she's here. All right, guys. I told you it was going to be short. Everybody have their glass? We are toasting this to the 75 years that have passed that have been wonderful, to the next 75 and beyond that will be coming for us to enjoy, to build those memories. Cheers. And like I said, thank you for everybody coming, making this a wonderful day. It's fun to remember Esther and enjoy all that she has made and put in place for you. Thank you.